Welcome everyone to another story time. I'm gonna see how this longer form one does. The last one, I really enjoyed telling the story, but didn't do too well on YouTube. But let's see how this one does. So the question is, what is the most wholesome moment you've encountered in Pokemon Go? So I think there's been a lot of really heartwarming moments while I've played Pokemon Go. You know, the number of different charity streams, whether it's for Black Lives Matter, suicide awareness and prevention, cancer prevention, raised thousands of dollars, or when people have been in trouble, whether they've lost their home, they had to leave an abusive relationship, their homes have been on fire, they've lost a loved one, and the community really coming together. Those are all really heartwarming moments and showing how powerful this community can be. But one of the most wholesome moments, I'm not sure necessarily the most wholesome, but it goes back to late 2016, or at least when it started late 2016, is when I grinded to level 40. I grinded super hard. I really got to know my local grinding community, and I was one of the first 200 people to reach level 40 in the world. And I remember as I was grinding, there was this young kid, like 12 years old. He was very trollish, like quite an immature kid. Even for 12 years old, he'd always say, "Oh, this is 100% or XYZ," or like tell some fibs and whatnot, just to get on some people's nerves. But I always knew that this kid was a good kid, and I remember after I hit level 48, and it was into early 2017, he's like, "King, I really want to hit level 40." I was like, "Okay, that's great." I gave him like a schedule of like, okay, you need to catch this much Pokemon, you need to evolve this, you need to do that. And he really took the advice to heart, and his like attitude and perception completely changed. He like became really focused and really helpful, and he was still a little bit trollish, but he definitely changed his perception to the community. And I remember he used to take the subway at like 12 years old, right? Like, this is a young kid. Obviously, grew up in Toronto, so maybe a little bit more used to it. Came every day after school, would finish his homework early and whatnot, and come down and come grind with us. And his mom would come pick him up in the early evening. And I remember one weekend normally we would grind really hard on the weekend, and he was like really close. He was racing basically these three other guys, and he was like in second place at that point in time in terms of XP. And I remember he had to go to his dad's house for the weekend because obviously the divorced parents. And I remember he came back that weekend, and he went from like second to fourth place, and he was like really really sad and upset because his dad didn't really like encourage him to play that much, so he had like kind of make do with what he had when he was there. And I remember he was like really discouraged. He's like, "Oh, this is not fair, whatnot." And you know, I said, this is a talk I have with like many people. I'm like, especially when I'm coaching them, I'm like, listen, you can't control what other people are doing, right? You can only control what your own behaviors and actions are, right? And the thing is, like, as long as you try your best and do everything you control, you should be proud of whatever place you finish. If you're first place and you didn't work that hard, does it really mean anything? If you're last place and you tried your very best and optimized your situation, you should be extremely proud. I told him I was proud of him, and I think like the reason why he was very trollish before him was because he really needed like a father figure in his eyes. And I remember the whole community really like gathered around him, and I remember like he had like a PA day on the time he wanted to hit 40. So I actually picked him up at like 6 a.m. Dropped him off, met up with his parents. I don't know what his mom was thinking at that point in time. This random guy shows up at his house at 6 a.m., comes picks up his child on a PA day. Anyways, I dropped him off where we normally would grind, and then there was this elderly couple that was there that were like help loading up the stops for him. And I remember people got him like gift cards to buy lucky eggs. And I remember like a member of the community, Josie, like really being supportive of him, and a number of different people really supported him. And he like grinded like 12 hours that day. His mom got him a cake, and you can tell that he was like really happy with what he had accomplished in the game. And I thought that was a really cool moment. Like, it was a cool moment to see that, especially as a young, like a preteen, a young child, that hard work, if you work hard and that you stay disciplined, you take advice, that you can really accomplish like amazing things. He was like one of the first like 500, like probably 400 people to hit level 40 out of the, millions of people that had touched the game. So, and it was cool to see the whole community rally behind him, and it was cool to see his mom being really happy that there was like positive influences in his life. Soon after, he kind of like got interested in other games and other things that as your teenager. So we didn't really keep in touch too much afterwards, but at that point in time, it was a really cool moment, and it was cool to see someone be so happy with how they played the game and the life lessons that they took away from it. So I realized that this is a very long match here, so I'm just gonna play a little bit of outro music to the end of this battle, but or I'll speed it up. I'm not sure which one, but hopefully you enjoyed that story time, and yeah, that's certainly one of the most wholesome moments I've had while playing this game.